You have reached Wrestling's Authority Review. I'm your man, Red Steele, and today I have a very special review because I got this one early. That is from Star Wars The Black Series, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Star Wars, The Black Series, The Mandalorian, and Grogu. But before I get into the actual review, I just want to go over some of the awesome details on this packaging. Up front here's two display. I'm going to show you with the figures and all their accessories inside. On the top here you have Star Wars, The Black Series. Down here you have Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu. Over here for number 1, which represents his number in this series. Down here it says The Mandalorian and Grogu. Over here you have a warning label that says choking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3. Next to that you have a 4+, which is the age requirement for this figure. In the corner here you have the Hasbro emblem. Inside the packaging here, on the very bottom you have Star Wars, The Black Series. And the other side of the packaging here is beautiful profile shot of both Din Djarin and Grogu. Below that it says The Mandalorian and Grogu. Then the back of the packaging here, on the very top it says Star Wars, The Black Series. Below that you have The Mandalorian and Grogu, and down here it says The Mandalorian and his young apprentice Grogu embark on a thrilling adventure as they travel the galaxy. Next to that you have another profile shot of both Din Djarin and Grogu. Down here you have the number 1, and next to that you have Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Down here the Disney logo, and next to that you have the Hasbro emblem. Star Wars, The Black Series, The Mandalorian, and Grogu. The Mandalorian and Grogu released on March 22nd, 2026 with the suggested retail price of $34.99, and they're available at all major retailers. Din Djarin and Grogu are a Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu inspired figure that are based on a scene from the Star Wars galaxy. Their accessories include a long and short blaster, dagger, jetpack, sword, and an alternate hand. Din Djarin stands 6 inches tall and Grogu stands 1 inch tall, and they are both meant for fans ages 4 and up. Other than The Mandalorian, Din Djarin, on my display table, we'll go over some of his plate features and accessories. First, I talk about his alternate hand. He comes with one alternate hand. Hand works at the thumbs up and has a lot of great deco here. It has a lot of detail where you have this triangle detail, you have this back of the hand detail, some finger detail, some glove detail, some great paint deco detail too. Very, very nicely done. Or so about these alternate hands, when the old hand here, you want to pull it away from the wrist. At the end of the wrist here, you have a ball socket joint. At the end of the hand, you have a ball socket port. You want to take that hand, you want to go ahead and push it right in that ball socket joint, just like that. And now you have Din Djarin with his alternate hand. Very, very cool. Now I went ahead and kept the default hand in because the default hand is utilized with a lot of the accessories I'm going to talk about right now. This hand right here is great because, let me go ahead and bring in the next accessory, and that's the dagger. And this dagger has some great mold detail to it. You got some blade detail here, you got some handle detail. Now I believe this knife or this dagger is molded out of a rubbery plastic, but at the same time it's a silver plastic that has metal specks in it that gives that luster, where you kind of get away from the chroming, because chroming does have a limited shelf life where the chroming does fade to black or chips away. And I do love that they found a technology where they can mold it out of this plastic here, where you have that silver metallic look, where it does have that dull luster. You shine certain angles of light, you get that shine to it. But I believe this dagger goes into this hand because his hand is slotted for a dagger, just like that. But I'm going to go ahead and take this dagger, because you can also store this dagger on the Mandalorian, because on the side of the boot right here, you have a little slot right here that the dagger slides right into, just like that. I'm going to take the alternate hand, I'm going to put this off to the side. So the next accessory I want to bring in is this short blaster. And this short blaster is pretty cool, and it's also molded out of a silver plastic, but it's a duller, darker silver plastic, where you don't have that much of a luster or shine to it, but it's very cool nonetheless. You got some paint deco detail for the handle right here that gives it that wooden handle look where it kind of has that cowboy western look to it. Very, very cool. And as you can see, there's a little porthole right here, and that's for the trigger finger, where the trigger should be. The nice thing about these Black Series figures is they have the trigger finger molded onto the hand, so if you want to arm your figure, you just put the finger right through the porthole right there, and it looks like he's arming himself with the blaster. Very cool. I just love that about these Black Series figures where they have the trigger fingers, where it looks like they're actually shooting their blaster while they're being displayed. Very, very nicely done. But like most Black Series figures, there are holsters and ways of storing some weaponry on your figure. And much like a real holster, you got a holster right on his hip right here. I'm going to put that blaster right into the holster just like that. And now you have Din Djarin, or the Mandalorian, with his blaster stored in his holster. Very, very cool. Because the next accessory I want to go ahead and bring in is this sword. And this sword's also molded out of that silver plastic where it's kind of rubbery. It's nice because it's got a sharp point. And if it gets in the wrong hands, it could cause some damage because it is pretty sharp. But let's say if a kid pokes another kid, there's some give to it, so it'll kind of bend away from the point of contact, or it won't cause much damage. But I mean, you don't want one of these being shoved in a kid's eye because it will cause some significant damage. But in order to arm the Mandalorian with the sword, what you can do with the blaster here, you slide it right into his hand, just like that, and now you have the Mandalorian armed with the sword. Very, very cool. Put this off to the side. I think this accessory is pretty cool, and I have not seen the movie yet. The movie hasn't been released yet at the time of recording this video, so I'm not sure how this sword plays into effect, because the other version of the Mandalorian that I do own is the one that has a dark saber, which I'll bring out in a bit. Kind of do a side-by-side comparison, but I'm going to put this sword off to the side. Because the next accessory I want to bring in is his jetpack, and again, they did a great job with the jetpack. There's a lot of great mold detail to it. And they molded out of that silver plastic with that metallic luster to it, where you have those metallic speckles in it, where it gives it that metal look to it. Very, very nicely done. But in order to arm the Mandalorian with his jetpack, you flip the jetpack over, and you have two tabs right there, and you have a peg right there. You turn Din Djarin all the way around, and he's got this cape here, which is a soft good. And if you don't know what a soft good is anything that's clothing-wise or cloth-wise that's on an action figure. You just flip that cape up. You have three portholes. You have a peg hole right there. You have two tab holes right there. You take that jetpack and just plug it right into his back, just like that. And now you have the Mandalorian armed with his jetpack. But the cool thing is you can put the cape over the jetpack. Now I can't recall if Din Djarin had his cape over the backpack or he had it off to one side. But I mean, Boba Fett had his off to one side. But from the way the cape is mounted, it looks like it could only go over the top of the jetpack, which is still pretty cool. But the next accessory I want to bring in is his large blaster, which is pretty much a rifle. It's very cool because you got the handle right here where if you want to arm Din Djarin with this blaster, you just hook it around his hand right there, take the thumb, and you take the trigger finger, you put it right through that porthole right there. The scope does come off very easily, but you can put it back on. Doesn't mean it's broken, it just comes off very easily. And you just arm Din Djarin with this rifle, which is kind of hard to do without everything falling apart on you. But you put your finger right through that trigger finger just like that. And let me go ahead and put that scope back on, because this Din Djarin has a lot of great play features. And this scope right here does come off very easily, which is kind of tedious, but it keeps on popping off on me. I'm going to put the blaster down here. It was a final accessory, and it's not so much an accessory. I want to say that Grogu is his partner in crime, so it's not really an accessory. This is a set, a 2-pack, so he's actually part of the figure set. And you can put Grogu on top of the Mandalorian by hooking him onto the jetpack, which is pretty cool. You have this little tab right here at the top of the jetpack. You have his hand grip the jetpack, and it's kind of difficult to do with this hand, just like that. And now you have Grogu on the Mandalorian. Very cool figure, and lots of points of articulation. I mean, Grogu here is very limited. I know I own another Grogu that came with a 2-pack with Luke Skywalker Deluxe set, where he's actually molded where he can stand on his own. Here, he's molded in a fixed position where he's supposed to be hanging onto the backpack. As you can see, there's a little indent his chest right there, and get that little tab right there on the back of the jetpack, and that's meant for Grogu to grab on. Pretty cool. But he has lots of points of articulation. He has ankle articulation, he has knee articulation, he has thigh swivel, he has the hip ball socket joint, he has the waist, he has double jointed elbow, shoulder and head, and double jointed neck. Very, very cool. This is such a fantastic figure. The Mandalorian movie is being released in a couple of weeks. I believe it's on May 23rd. But this video is being released on May 4th because it's to commemorate the May the 4th Be With You, which has become kind of a national holiday for Star Wars fans. And it's nice because you get a lot of the fanfare, you get a lot of great deals on the internet with a lot of the Star Wars figures. But if you guys found any of the information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, if you really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. And while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future videos. I want to thank you guys for watching Red Steele's Toy Collector Review. I'll check you guys out next time.